All right, welcome to my channel. Today, we're going to be breaking down the beat, understanding the elements of beat making. So with making beats, sometimes we want to have a good understanding of what elements do we need in our beat to make it a full, complete beat. So I'm going to go over and cover some of the elements to help you give you some insight on helping you become a better beat maker. So let's get into it. In hip-hop, the beat usually consists of four main elements: the kick drum, the snare drum, the hi-hat, and the bass line. The kick drum provides the low-end pulse of the beat and usually hits on the first and third of the beat of each measure and provides the main groove. It is typically a deep thumping sound that sets the foundation for the rest of the beat. The snare drum is usually the next most prominent element of a beat and provides a sharp percussive sound that cuts through the mix. It typically hits on the second and fourth beats of each measure and sometimes has a slightly delayed hit on the third beat to create a more complex rhythm. The hi-hat is a cymbal that provides a steady rhythmic sound throughout the track. It's usually played on every beat of the measure or on every other beat, and it can be opened or closed to create different textures. The bass line provides the melodic and harmonic foundation of the beat and usually plays in the lower register of the track. It's often a simple pattern that repeats throughout the song, but it also can have variation and fills to add interest and variation. In addition to these four elements, hip-hop beats often feature other sounds as samples such as vocal samples, synth melodies, and percussion hits. Hip-hop beats are often based on 4/4 time signatures, which means there are 4 beats per measure. The tempo of a hip-hop beat can vary, but it usually in the range of 80 to 100 beats per minute. Hip-hop beats can also feature variations and breakdowns to add interest and dynamic contrast. For example, there might be a breakdown section where the beat drops out entirely except for a vocal sample or a percussion hit before building back up to a full beat again. So let's take a listen to the beat that's playing right here. Let's just take a listen to it, and we're going to bring it up a little bit. So we can listen to all the different elements in this beat, right, to make a full beat. Take a look. There's one more pass through. To drop out some of these instruments, some of these elements, and we're going to take a closer look at the first element, which is just the drum beat. So you can hear the kick happening on the 1, and then the snare drum happening on the 2 and 4. And now also in there, there's a couple other percussion instruments in this drum beat, but mainly we want to focus on the bass drum and the snare, and then the hi-hat playing throughout. So that's the main element, right? That's the main element to any beat is going to be that drum beat. Well, now the next element, right? So again, the main element, the kick drum, snare drum, and hi-hat. Now let's bring in this bass line. So the bass line is there to give that rhythmic, melodic, and harmonic foundation. Bring that up a little bit. So you can hear now we start to add in the main elements and how the bass and the kick and snare really work together to create that main foundation. So when you're making your beats, if you get the kick, snare, and bass right, everything will start to fall into place, and you'll be able to find the space for your other elements. So let's talk about another element, and let's look at this rhythm instrument, which is the guitar. Let's bring this back in. So that rhythm instrument now is starting to add texture. So now if I want to start to add in, so the rhythm is really now starting to really drive the music forward. Okay, so now I want to kind of pull things together, and I want to add in maybe a pad, and I bring in the keys. And now I just want to have something just offset the pad and some to counter the rhythm guitar, and I'm going to add in these stabs. So one thing about beats, when you're looking to find things that kind of contrast with each other, to offset, and what we kind of in musical terms is to counterpoint some of the elements. So the keys is kind of holding down really the harmonic foundation, and then offsetting that is some harmonic stabs that's counterpoint to the guitar rhythm. Now to add in some ideas and fills to counterpoint the bass line, I'm going to add in this lead melody. So this lead melody is a counterpoint to the bass melody. Okay? So you got something on the low end, and now we got something on the high end to counterpoint each other. And just to add things in, to get in some strings, to get some fill ideas in here. And what we call this is ear candy. So you hear the strings in there to bring up that ear candy. Right, the strings are there to kind of grab the attention, something that's outside of the main foundation of the beat. So, hip-hop music is often structured with an emphasis on the beat and the use of sampled sounds and textures. The instrumental elements used in the beat is the foundation of the instrumental track. The kick drum, snare drum, and hi-hat providing the main rhythmic elements. The bass line is also important, like I said, providing a melodic and harmonic foundation and helping to give the track a sense of groove and movement. A hip-hop beat uses use of additional melodic instruments and elements. Hip-hop beats often incorporates instrumental melodies or samples to create interest and variation. For example, the beat might feature a sampled guitar riff or a synth melody which plays in the upper register of the track and provides a counterpoint to the bass line. These melodic elements can be repetitive, but also feature variations or fills to keep the track interesting and dynamic. Hip-hop beats can also feature additional percussion elements beyond the basic beat. For example, a track might include a shaker, a tambourine, or other percussion hits to add texture and interest to the rhythm. In terms of structure, hip-hop beats are often based on traditional verse-chorus structure with variations and breakdowns to add interest and dynamic contrast. The track might start with an intro section that features a stripped-down version of the beat before building up to the full instrumental with all the melodic and percussive elements. Overall, a hip-hop beat is the most important part of the hip-hop genre, providing a platform for producers to showcase their creativity and skill in crafting unique beats and textures. By understanding the key elements of a hip-hop beat, or just a beat for other genres of music, not just hip-hop, you can better understand the use of them and where to place them in your own, just a place where you to place them when you create your own beats. If you have any questions, please leave your questions and comments below, and please subscribe to my channel, and let's get in the groove.